Let's imagine a moment both terrifying and impossible. Every ocean on Earth, the Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Arctic, and Southern, suddenly begins to boil. Not over years, not gradually due to climate change or rising temperatures, but instantly. One moment, vast stretches of deep blue waters cradle the planet like a protective skin. The next, they erupt into clouds of steam. The surface roils, bubbles rise like a billion geysers, and a white, hot mist begins to engulf coastlines. The oceans cover about 71% of Earth's surface and contain roughly 1.4 billion cubic kilometers of water. To bring that volume to a boil would require an unimaginable release of energy, far beyond what any natural process on Earth could supply. But let's say, for the sake of the thought experiment, that this energy appears. Perhaps a rogue star pulses nearby with just enough radiation, or a mysterious alien device buried in the core activates. Whatever the cause, the result is the same. Water meets heat, and chaos ensues. As the oceans boil, the first catastrophe is thermal. Boiling water releases steam, and steam means pressure. The atmosphere would suddenly become saturated with water vapor, turning into a suffocating, superheated soup. Coastal cities are hit first. In places like Tokyo, New York, Lagos, and Mumbai, skyscrapers disappear into dense, scalding fog. Temperatures skyrocket. Anyone caught outside would suffer instant burns to the lungs and skin, death by steam rather than flame. The rising vapor wouldn't stop at the cities. As billions of tons of water turn into gas, the global pressure system collapses. Hurricanes the size of continents begin to churn over the boiling seas. With the oceans no longer absorbing heat, surface temperatures surge. Without their moderating presence, Earth begins to swing wildly between extremes, boiling days, freezing nights, until even that pattern begins to unravel. The next victim is the water cycle. No more oceans means no more evaporation in the traditional sense. But ironically, now everything is vapor. Clouds become dense and erratic. Rain falls in terrifying bursts only to evaporate mid-air. Rivers dry up. Groundwater is pulled from aquifers at unsustainable rates, only to vanish into the boiling madness above. Then comes the atmospheric transformation. Water vapor is a powerful greenhouse gas, more potent than carbon dioxide. With so much of it now lingering in the air, Earth begins to resemble Venus. The planet traps heat with brutal efficiency. Instead of cooling, the surface begins to bake, plants wither, forests turn to ash, crops fail, the food chain collapses, starting from the bottom. Coral reefs are already gone, boiled along with their ecosystems. Fish, extinct within hours. Birds and mammals begin to disappear next, unable to find drinkable water or breathable air. Inland, humanity scrambles. The Great Migration begins. People rushing to high ground, cooler zones, deep caves. Governments collapse under the pressure. Global communication fails. Satellites, confused by the dense water vapor and electromagnetic interference, begin to blink out. The internet fades to static. Within days, we are back to candlelight and spoken word, if we're lucky enough to survive that long. The boiling of the oceans does something else. It reshapes the very crust of the planet. The immense weight of the water once pressed down on tectonic plates, keeping them in check. Now, with that pressure gone, the plates begin to shift. Earthquakes ripple through fault lines. Volcanoes, no longer submerged or stabilized, erupt. The ring of fire lights up like a constellation of fury. Lava spills across now dry ocean beds. Sulfur clouds mix with steam, and acid rain begins to fall. Eventually, the boiling slows. There's only so much water to vaporize. What's left are barren ocean floors, cracked and steaming like a post-apocalyptic desert. Giant canyons once hidden beneath kilometers of salt water are now exposed to the open air. The Mariana Trench gapes like a wound. Former sea creatures lie fossilized where they boiled in place. The seas become history. And yet, somehow in the rubble, something remains. Deep underground, water-locked-in minerals might still exist. Life might cling on in tiny pockets, microbial colonies in geothermal vents, or survivors hidden in deep bunkers. The sky, once choked with steam, might eventually clear. The water vapor, now a thick atmospheric blanket, may condense again over decades or centuries, forming acidic rain that shapes new lakes and rivers. But the world would never be the same. This isn't just a mass extinction event, it's a planetary reset. Humanity, if it survives, would be thrown back into the shadows of prehistory. Perhaps we'd write stories about the time the oceans turned to clouds, about the day the sea boiled and the sky burned. Maybe someone would still remember the word ocean, a strange word from a world now gone.